So in this video today, we're going to be doing a review of the Robo-Advisor known as Wealthsimple. And right off the bat, this is going to be an appealing option for a lot of people because not only are they available to US investors, but they are also available to Canadian investors, whereas most other robo-advisors on the market today are specifically available to US investors. And there's also a big difference between Wealthsimple and other robo-advisors out there when it comes down to the type of service they're providing and whether or not you have access to people in order to set up calls with them and ask questions. So Wealthsimple is still a robo-advisor where a lot of this stuff is handled with an algorithm online, but you still have a good amount of access to real people if you need to ask questions. Now, at the end of this video, guys, if you do decide that you would like to sign up for a Wealthsimple account, there is an affiliate link down in the description below if you feel like giving back to me for putting this video together today for you. And one other thing, I also have a completely free Robo-Advisor comparison guide, which I'm going to link up down in the description as well. That one is specifically for US investors. It looks at the top robo-advisors available today and compares the features and the fees and minimums and things like that for you to easily make a decision about which robo-advisor you may want to invest with. But that being said, guys, let's jump right into the review and talk a bit more about Wealthsimple. So first of all, what exactly is Wealthsimple? Well, it is a robo-advisor that passively invests your money into ETFs or exchange-traded funds. Rather than going out there and trying to beat the market through actively managed mutual funds, you are instead passively investing in these funds with lower expense ratios and saving money on fees. And by doing this with an algorithm rather than an in-person financial advisor, the fees are much lower in most cases than what you're going to pay if you sit down with a traditional financial advisor. And as I mentioned earlier, one of the key differentiators between Wealthsimple and their competitors such as Wealthfront and Betterment is that every single type of account with Wealthsimple has access to financial advisors where you're able to ask them questions about your investments. Now, obviously, if you have the higher plans, which we'll discuss here in a minute, you're going to have priority access to this team and have more involvement. But if you are looking to have somebody you can reach out to and ask questions to regarding your investments, regardless of your account level, you can do exactly that with Wealthsimple. So essentially, just like with other robo-advisors out there, they're going to have you answer a series of questions, and based on that, they're going to build you a portfolio of low-fee exchange-traded funds. Now, after they create that portfolio for you, they're also going to periodically rebalance it, which essentially means returning you to these target allocations because your assets are going to move in different ways at different times. They're also going to reallocate this as needed. So as you approach retirement age or get closer to your goals, you're going to need to change the percentage of money in each asset, and they're going to do this automatically. And also, they're going to reinvest those dividends paid by those funds across your entire portfolio, rebalancing in the process. However, one thing to understand here with Wealthsimple is that since they have prioritized giving you access to financial advisors that you can ask questions to, it does come in at a higher annual asset management fee than most traditional robo-advisors, and we're going to go ahead and cover those different plans now. So first of all, with the basic plan, you're going to pay an annual asset management fee of 0.5% per year. Now, in that plan, you're going to get a personalized portfolio as well as expert financial advice. Now, what exactly does that mean? Well, in the basic plan, you have the ability to book 15 to 30-minute chats with a portfolio management team to ask them questions specifically regarding your Wealthsimple investments. And in addition, you're also going to get all these features here where they're going to rebalance your portfolio, reallocate, and reinvest your dividends. Now, with the basic plan, you can deposit literally any amount of money, $0 up to $100,000. If you want to be in the black plan, you have to have a minimum of $100,000. And the key advantage here is based on having a larger account value, the annual asset management fee drops from 0.5% to 0.4%. Now, once you are in the black plan, they're going to give you a more holistic view of your financial situation in terms of the financial advisement. So what that looks like is they're going to take a look at your entire financial life and provide suggestions on how Wealthsimple can help you to reach your goals. So as mentioned earlier, as you go up in these tiers, you're going to have more and more access to these financial advisors, and they're going to be able to help you in different ways. And then lastly, the top tier here is the Wealthsimple Generation Plan. That has a minimum investment of $500,000. But with that plan, you still get the discounted asset management fee, and you're also going to have access to a dedicated team of financial advisors. And the exciting part here is they guarantee clients' phone calls will be returned in at most 4 hours. So you're going to get the most priority access to a team of financial advisors. Not only that, they can also set up different portfolios for you within your Wealthsimple account based on your individual goals. And at this point in time, when you're in the $500,000 plus tier, they're going to set up individualized asset allocations, and those financial advisors are actually going to build the portfolio for you. So it's no longer algorithm based, it's going to be based on a financial advisory team. So essentially, based on where you're at and how much money you have to invest, you can decide if you want the basic plan, the black plan, or the generation plan. What differentiates Wealthsimple from the other robo-advisors out there is that every single person on Wealthsimple has the ability to reach out to the team and ask questions, which is something you're not going to find with other robo-advisors out there. Now, beyond the Wealthsimple investing accounts, they also offer an account called Wealthsimple Cash, which is essentially for your short-term savings. Wealthsimple Cash is a low-risk portfolio designed for short-term savings. So you are able to earn some type of returns from this account, typically in excess of what you would earn from a traditional savings account. However, it is important to understand that there is a very small amount of risk, and it is potentially possible for a loss of principal, which is not the case with a traditional savings account. So with that Wealthsimple Cash account, the annual fee is lower at 0.25% with a $0 minimum. And right now, the current rate for this Wealthsimple Cash account is 0.9%. However, it's important to understand this rate here is going to fluctuate based on interest rates being set by the Bank of Canada. Now, that being said, there are a couple of additional features with Wealthsimple that are worth mentioning. First of all, they offer tax loss harvesting across all of the accounts here, which essentially means they're able to recognize these small losses, and they basically sell an investment and buy a near identical investment, which allows you to capture these artificial losses and offset capital gains, essentially boosting your after-tax return. Second of all, they offer specific portfolios related to socially responsible investing if that is something that interests you as well. Third of all, beyond these features here, the rebalancing, the reallocating, and the reinvesting, they also offer a spare change roundup tool very similar to what Acorns offers, where essentially you can round up your purchases and automatically invest or save that money. And also, they do take advantage of fractional share investing, which essentially means you don't have to wait until you have enough money to buy whole shares, which means your account remains fully invested at all times with minimal idle cash on the sidelines. So anyways, guys, in a nutshell, Wealthsimple prioritizes allowing you to have access to financial advisors. However, that does come at a slightly larger annual asset management fee, as you can see here, compared to other robo-advisors out there. So you essentially have to consider whether or not you want the approach that's entirely based on algorithms, where you don't really have anyone you can reach out to, or do you want to have somebody you can reach out to and set up calls with to ask questions. Overall, this is a pretty solid platform here for both US and Canadian investors, and it's great to be seeing good options for those who are in Canada after all, since most of the good investment options are for US investors only. But anyways, guys, that's going to wrap up this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, if you want to give back to me for putting this video together, there is an affiliate link for Wealthsimple down below, and if you are a US investor, feel free to check out that free Robo-Advisor comparison guide. I'm going to link up down in the description as well. But thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.